There comes a time when the fence we once built for safety becomes the very thing that holds us back. I'm Kayla Rain, and this is Unfenced Woman, a storytelling podcast and animated series for the midlife woman who's ready to burn the rulebook and write her own. She's spent decades doing all the things for everyone else, but now she's reclaiming her body, her boundaries, and her voice. This is a space for the bold, the tender, the unboxed, where we are unapologetically done with society's nonsense and refuse to be fenced in by anyone else's expectations. These are raw, unfiltered stories of healing, rebellion, and rising. And it starts right here with you and me. There's a moment I return to often. It's early morning. The house is still. The kind of quiet that only exists before the world wakes up. The sun is just beginning to stretch its fingers through the slats of the kitchen blinds, casting golden lines across the faded linoleum floor. And there she is, my mother. She's been up for hours. She's in a pale blue robe that smells faintly of lavender and dryer sheets, with terry cloth slippers that scuff softly across the floor. Her hair is pinned up haphazardly, like she didn't have time to fix it properly. Because she didn't. She hums to herself while stirring a pot of oatmeal on the stove. The rhythmic motion of the spoon, soothing in its familiarity. Somewhere in the background, a dryer hums and thuds gently. A load of laundry, already tumbling, as if the day began without her permission. The kitchen smells like cinnamon and fabric softener, like warmth and effort, and someone else's comfort. On the counter, there's a worn Bible, its corners curled with use. Resting beside a mug of lukewarm tea she'll likely forget to finish again. She moves with precision, with intention, but not for herself. She is preparing for 5 daughters, for a son, for a life built around everyone else's needs, for the unspoken expectations of a world that never paused to ask what she needed. And in that image, frozen in time, I see the quiet tragedy no one ever named. She never stopped to ask what she needed. She didn't ask because she wasn't taught that she could, that she should. My mom, Shannon, passed away when she was just 49 years old. I was 22, still a baby in so many ways, just learning how to ask those questions for myself. And then she was gone. Multiple myeloma took her. Bone marrow cancer. It crept through her body like a whisper, stealing her from the inside out. And even as it consumed her, she rarely admitted she was in pain. She smiled through it, She apologized for being tired. She tried to make us comfortable in her dying. She didn't want to be a burden. She never did. She was everything they said a woman should be. Kind, compassionate, loving, selfless. And it killed her. She was raised, and raised us, in an ultra-staunch Mormon household. The kind of environment where every Sunday was spoken for. Every question had an answer, and every answer pointed back to obedience. We were taught, both directly and through every subtle cue, that our divine purpose was to become mothers, wives, helpers, supporters. Men held the priesthood. Men received revelation. Men led the homes. We followed. And my mother followed too. She followed with grace, with devotion. But I wonder now, did she ever feel resentment tucked underneath her faith? Did she ever whisper to God in the quiet, asking if there might be more? Maybe she didn't feel like she could. Maybe the very thought of wanting more felt like betrayal. Maybe the hunger she had for herself was buried so deep, she forgot it existed. Her life became one long ritual. Every Saturday, she scrubbed baseboards and washed windows while humming hymns under her breath. Not because she wanted to, but because that's what a good woman did. Every Sunday, she wrangled 5 girls into matching dresses and taught us to sit still, smile, and listen. Every night, she folded laundry in front of a dim television, smoothing out our clothes like she might smooth out the chaos in her soul. She showed up, and showed up, and showed up. But did she ever arrive? When I think of my childhood, I remember how constant she was, how present. And yet, I don't remember ever seeing her read a book just for joy. I don't remember her baking in the kitchen something that just sounded good to her. I don't remember her painting or crafting or chasing down a wild, unreasonable dream just because it lit her up. She didn't have girlfriends over. She didn't take weekends away. She didn't start a garden just for herself or leave the dishes to rest while she took a walk in the sun. Her life revolved around service. And while there's beauty in that, there's also heartbreak. Because her dreams were always tethered to someone else's comfort. She didn't ask for birthday gifts. She didn't ask for help. She didn't even ask for space. And now, in hindsight, I can't help but see the correlation. Recently, I read that the majority of people who die from autoimmune diseases are women. And researchers believe it may be because women are conditioned to give so much of themselves, to serve, to carry, to perform, to endure, until their very bodies can't take it anymore. So they turn inward. They begin to attack themselves. When I read that, it landed like a blow to the chest because that was my mom. And if I'm honest, it's been me too. the chronic fatigue, the tension headaches, the panic attacks that whisper, "You're not doing enough. You should do more." I know that rhythm. I've danced it in heels and smiled through it in boardrooms. I was on the same conveyor belt, smiling, nurturing, overgiving, silently breaking. I think about how hard it must have been for her. She was raising 6 children in a world that expected her to be both invisible and perfect. She had a husband who held the authority. She was taught to follow, to trust, to suppress. She was told her highest calling was to serve. And she fulfilled that calling beautifully, but at the cost of her own becoming. We often speak about the legacy of motherhood, but what happens when the legacy is martyrdom? What happens when we inherit the belief that our value is measured by how much we give and how little we ask for? What happens when our mothers never model boundaries because they were never allowed to? My mother taught me to be kind, to be thoughtful, to care deeply. But she also, unintentionally, taught me that a woman should hide her pain, that she should give even when her tank is empty, that rest is indulgent, that self-prioritization is selfish, that the best women are the ones who disappear behind their families. And that is not a legacy I am willing to carry forward. I want to be known for my compassion, for my integrity, for my warmth. But I've learned if I want to survive, I have to put myself first, because no one else will. Self-care isn't a marketing slogan. It's not a bubble bath or a pretty planner. It's boundaries. It's saying no when yes would cost too much. It's asking for help without apology. It's giving yourself permission to rest, to grieve, to laugh, to live. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot mother your children, your partner, your community, if you are bleeding at the seams. There is beauty in a woman's love, but there is nothing beautiful about a woman erasing herself in the name of duty. My mother never got to fully become her, and I grieve that deeply. I honor her, and I choose differently. I am no longer religious. I don't subscribe to gender roles. I don't believe my worth is determined by how quiet I can be, how much I can endure, or how little I inconvenience others. I believe in taking up space. I believe in speaking truth. I believe in modeling a new kind of legacy, one where women are allowed to rest, where we are allowed to want more, where our joy matters as much as our service. To the daughters listening, and to the mothers who never got a chance, you are not selfish for putting yourself on the list. You are not broken for needing care. You are not lazy for choosing stillness. You are human. You are worthy. And you are allowed to shine. My mother never got to grow old. She never got to discover who she was outside of her family. She never got to dye her hair purple just because she was feeling bold. She never danced barefoot in the grass while the rain was pouring down. She never took a ceramics class or booked a girls' trip or laughed so hard she cried with women she chose as friends for herself. She never got to meet the woman she might have become. But I will. To my mother, Shannon, I love you. And I will not follow the same road. I will live. I will laugh loudly. I will set things down before they break me. I will take your love and carry it forward. But I will not carry your silence. Because the best way I can honor you is becoming fully, unapologetically me. You've been listening to Unfenced Woman, where we tear down walls, break the rules, and make room to be fully ourselves. If this story moved something in you, share it with a woman who needs to hear it. Remind her she's not alone. And be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a single future episode. If you've got a story about burning the rule book, I want to hear it. Who knows? Your story could be a future episode, inspiring and uplifting other women to do the same. Drop the details for me at unfencedwoman.com. Until next time, stay wild, stay free, and stay unfenced.